Good morning, everybody. Having a few challenges this morning. Let me turn the music down. Sorry about that. Here, let's fix the thumbnail too. That'd make a change. This hasn't been the greatest morning, so I apologize for my tardiness. And what the hell's going on here? Get the right picture, damn it. There we go. How's that? All right, happy Tuesday, generally Twitter Tuesday on the Morning Night Live. Clearly there was a big tragedy, an event in Tennessee yesterday, and it's been fascinating to watch how the narrative has shifted now that we're learning things about the identity of the perpetrator who has ceased to breathe. Well, that's what we're gonna look at today, and then we'll look at a few other articles. There was an article. You gotta be kidding me! Is this what I think it is? March 26th. I did not know that. Okay, well, hey, we're going to get into this. Sorry about the weird intro. Here, let's play the regular intro, and then we'll get this thing started. Johnny, play the intro!
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yeah, that's me. Hello. Let me click the right button here and stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where sometimes things aren't perfect. You know what I mean? Well, at least it was not necessarily boomer vision today, just a little bit of life glitches. Let's put it that way. We had some life glitches. Let me reset the superstar donor of the day. I haven't even gotten to that. And ended up having to just have to change some things tomorrow. And in fact, I may not be streaming tomorrow and Thursday, but I will definitely be back on Friday for sure. Tomorrow and Thursday are iffy, and so we'll see. But anyway, any more concerned about offending? Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, Lord Stanhope. Let's just say hi and getting started, because I have a lot to catch up on. Sorry about the cryptic message on Rumble there. First on Rumble, by the way, first in the chat, Avocado Stiabli gets the bell. Good morning, sir. Also, good morning to Michael Savage, Blarg, Simon Wolfwood, and TC. Thanks for joining me on Rumble. If you happen to be watching a Rumble, just put one hi in the chat. If you're some of you watch on both, I know, or not watch on both, but open up Windows just for algo's sake, and I appreciate that. But on YouTube, first in the chat was also Avocado Stiabli gets the bell. Good morning, Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost, a.k.a. Tyre Alexander. Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. My favorite Canadian Jaeger pony with the new Avi. Good morning also to Rotten Corpse. Good morning, Aaron Meredith, Lord Stanhope. TC's over there on YouTube. Richo, my friend from down under. Hello, sir. Good morning also to Tex AG 007. Nomads in the house. Hammer time. And also good morning to Scribe Light. Dog Thrapple. And also, I don't know why I said it like that. That was weird. Rick Ashbringer, what's up? And I think that's everybody so far. If you would be so kind, since I am pushing the limits of lateness today, if you would be so kind, hit the like button sometime during the show. Share the stream. That's the big one. I see some of you have already maybe have begun to do that, I think. Let's see. Let's look in the Somnambull Nation. Thank you. You've done that already. And TC And yeah, everybody there. So, cool. I am, I got a message here. What's my message? I got a message. Is that that's from Team YouTube. What? What? Oh my gosh. I got a message from Team YouTube. Please take a moment and complete our online survey. We look forward to your feedback. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. What could this be? Because see, someone said, please. I had sent them a DM one time, and that said, please tell us about your experience with Team YouTube. Oh, good Lord. Do they really want this? Do they want this? I don't think so. And I said, really, nobody read the last one. This bot system of yours is failing. Because it is. It always does. YouTube's a pain in the ass. I saw it, Scribe. I noticed one of your old Lords of the Night episodes got taken down from it had to be at least 3 years old, I'm guessing. Probably had some election stuff in it, or people were talking about the election, or talking about how people were talking about the election, and they're just going back and randomly taking stuff down. Now, thankfully, they're not giving strikes for old crap, but it's still a pain in the patootie, whatever. So anyway, I'm curious. I'm just curious. Let me just open the link. I'm going to open the link. Let's see what it is. It's a YouTube customer experience survey. Wow. How satisfied were you with your recent experience? Oh my God. I don't even know. Data collected by spring. We should be shared to you, Google. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. We will take this survey later. I'm going to put it way down here. In fact, let's see. I should probably put it in its own separate window so I don't have to. Oh, crap. You know what? I can do that later. I'll just click that closed. All right. Let's talk about the biggest news. Oh, Maddie's in the house. Hi, Maddie. How you doing? And Jimmy Das Hotep's here. Nice to have you here on both Rumble and YouTube. Appreciate you all for jumping in. So, let's talk about these events. Oh, wait. First, let me skip. It's somewhat related, but not. But I didn't see this before. And so I just wanted to show you this. Apparently, ESPN, as a part of Women's History Month, decided to do a feature on none other than Leah Thomas. Yes! Leah Thomas, celebrating Women's History Month segment. ESPN on Sunday honored former University of Pennsylvania swimmer Leah Thomas as part of a celebrating Women's History Month segment. Now, what's amazing about this is Leah Thomas doesn't have much of a history of being a woman, but certainly ends up making it onto the Women's History Month ESPN thingy-bobber. The segment brought up Thomas's transition from male to female, his win at the NCAA championships, and competing amid criticism from the swimming world. Now, Fox News here used the pronouns that Leah Thomas would ask you to use. I think I'm finally in a point where I try to be careful with it, but it's like I'm not sure why I have to pretend because of somebody else's reality. I'm still trying to figure that out. And I know it can get me in trouble for stuff. Hi, James PFP. But there's just times when I can't do it. And young Leah Thomas tends to be one of those times. Now, they say, let's see, they continue. People will say, she just transitioned so she would have an advantage so she could win. I transitioned to be happy, Thomas says in the segment. It's weird. It's just weird that this is, there's an interesting segment the first comment on here is very interesting. Elias Thomas is not being truthful. If the only reason for the transition was to achieve happiness, then the transition would have occurred and no sports competition would have ensued thereafter. This was for more than the transition. It was at least secondarily, and maybe even primarily, to fill the empty shelf with other people's trophies. Ouch! That's nasty. That's nasty. Nasty. That's cold. That's cold. But anyway, let's see. How long is it? Oh no, it's a 15. Okay. There's music in it. I don't want to do it. Anyway, I'll put it in the links. As you know, I put everything we do today and every day. I put in a one tab link in the description that has all the articles and tweets and videos, whatever, from that day on a single page. So you click the link, one page, everything's listed in one long thing. So, all right, let's get on what I really wanted to talk about. That was just something I saw like seconds before I decided to hit the click the thingy. You know what I mean? Wait, are there more notifications? What's going on here? What's that? Oh, by the way, thank you very much. Jimmy Does Hotep, thank you for sharing the show. Scribe Light, Rotten Corpse, and the people I miss, Simon Wolfwood. Thanks for tweeting out the show. I appreciate it. Retweeting my tweet or whatever you do to do that. So let's go into the real topic of the day, because there was a Pew Pew event in Nashville that unfortunately some children, people who lost their lives at a school, at a Catholic elementary school. And when the at first, when it was finally hitting the wires, all they were saying was that there was a shooting in the school, and then everyone jumps on this. And it's interesting because I think part of the reason you're seeing more of these is because they're sensational, and because they get so much attention now because there's an agenda. A lot of people who are susceptible to doing this type of thing decide to copycat it. I'm beginning to think that, because this was really kind of almost unheard of. Now, I mean, it was rare until Sandy Hook, right? And then all of a sudden we're seeing these, and certainly the quote mass shooting element has been especially emphasized by media, because there's also an agenda that's related to the Second Amendment, but I don't want to necessarily, obviously this is going to be one of those people who are going to say guns, 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 when it's actually people who do it. I mean, these people aren't, certainly they'll find other ways to destroy other people's lives. But right now, because it was guns used, and this one in particular because used the, quote, assault style weapons. It was, when it first broke, the emphasis almost was on the guns, right? But then it was weird, because then they reported that it was they thought it was a teenage woman, right? And then they said it was a 28-year-old woman. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's really, really unusual. Okay, that's really unusual that a woman does this type of thing. And then they said it was a 28-year-old woman. And then they said it was the person was transgender, which, look, it should not have any bearing on this, except for how the narrative changed as the facts became more clear. And I don't want to be one of those people. There's people out there, oh, yeah, see, there's transgender mental health, blah, blah, blah. It is part of mental health. And I don't think it's necessarily the transgender part. But how the media changes how they treat it and how different people react to it when the facts change has been fascinating. So let's go into the story first, just from how a Twitter standpoint, okay? So, and as I mentioned earlier, the New York Times tweeted this. There was confusion later on Monday about the gender identity of the assailant in the Nashville shooting. Officials had used she and her to refer to the suspect, who, according to social media posts and LinkedIn profile, appeared to identify as a man in recent months. Hey, New York Times, do you really think I give a how the person identifies? Does it matter to me? No. This person murdered people. And they're worried about the dead murderer's pronouns, but physiological, biological, whatever, female, don't care. But it seems to be very important to some people. Now, someone here, and then the person who put this mentally ill woman just shot up a school. The New York Times is more concerned that we are respecting the killer's pronouns. Enough! Yes, agreed. 100%. Now, let's scroll up, because there's a whole lot going on in some of these comments. Now, there are people, now this woman is again, this person is about, jumped into the press conference. Because they're defining it as a mass shooting, which it is. Yahoo article, this woman jumped in. Are you guys tired of this? Woman who survived the Highland Park shooting makes a plea in Nashville. Where's the, they got a commercial on the ad. Here, let's see if we can do it from here. Here's one. Here it is.
Aren't you guys tired of covering this? Aren't you guys tired of being here and having to cover all of these mass shootings? I'm from Highland Park, Illinois. My son and I survived a mass shooting over the summer. I am in Tennessee on a family vacation with my son, visiting my sister-in-law. I have been lobbying in D.C. since we survived a mass shooting in July. I have met with over 130 lawmakers. How is this still happening? How are our children still dying, and why are we failing them? Gun violence is the #1 killer of children and teens. It has overtaken cars.
That is false.
Assault weapons are contributing to the border crisis and fentanyl. We are arming cartels with our guns and our loose gun laws, and these shootings and these mass shootings will continue to happen until our lawmakers step up and pass gun safety legislation. I'm pretty sure this was an unsecured weapon that this teenager got a hold of.
Oh, and so now that's incorrect too. It's not a teenager. This was actually planned out. This was a planned. We'll get to that, but this was. It was not a teenager who got an unsecured gun. This was someone who mapped. Apparently, they're figuring out that this was planned.
We can't even pass gun safety, like safe storage laws in this country to protect kids from getting a hold of weapons.
Okay, so she had some incorrect information, but there are in some ways she's right. People need to take care of their weapons and secure them, whatever. Not the case here. All right, I'm going to scroll down now. Some people are using this to say that all trans people are a danger, but there is an interesting phenomenon going on April 1st. Let me see if I can scroll down and find it, because I think I might have showed you this particular. I'm taking a chance here scrolling like this, but where is it? Something happening on April 1st. So this is this is something on the assailant's Facebook page. Defend equality, trans rights, or else. And then this. Apparently, some organization or something said that April 1st is going to be the Trans Day of Vengeance. April 1st, 11 a.m., assemble at the Supreme Court, wear a mask, and bring a buddy? Now, I'm really curious what that means. Trans Day of Vengeance at the Supreme Court. And then it has some context here. But interesting that that their plan, at least from this vision, or this person's plan from this vision, was, well, we're just going to start taking shots at people, which is interesting. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for sponsoring the show. And Jimmy Das Hotep, you are the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Jimmy Das, who says she's right. Our American guns do kill people overseas when the government gives them to cartels on the southern border, which bolstered cartel power. Why would I trust that government to be the only armed group? Yeah, right? So anyway, I found it fascinating. That's this person's part of this person's Facebook page. There's also a couple other interesting phenomena about how this is being discussed. Oh, by the way, they did show security footage from the Nashville school. This person shot their way into the school through the locked doors, and then a couple police officers ended up shooting the assailant. Let's look real here. Let's go through some of the articles real quick, then I'll come back to that. So anyway, CNN is doing updates. Whose first thing, the latest on Nashville elementary school shooting. I'll leave this page in the links. Now, it's interesting. They say there have been at least 131 mass shootings in the U.S. this year. Now, they're using data from what's called the Gun Violence Archive. And so when they say mass shootings, people automatically go, oh, someone went with the AR-15 and went and shot up a school. No, a mass shooting by the Gun Violence Archive is any event in which I think it's 3 or more people are injured in a gun incident. So, for example, someone goes and robs a liquor store and shoots 3 people. They consider that a mass. They consider that a mass shooting, and then the the media will treat that as one of the 131 mass shootings. If there's a gang drive-by shooting at a park or at a party or something, and if 3 people are injured, they count it as a mass shooting. So not when they say mass shootings, the first thing you normally would think of, oh, someone went out and did a Las Vegas style, shooting at the concert, or someone went and shot up a school. A lot of these are just crime, violence, gang shit that they count in that number, which is not good either. But you can basically attribute those to about 5 or 6 major cities where those happen on a kind of a regular basis. And then they say more mass shootings in 2023 so far than at this point in any year since at least 2013. Now, here's the other thing. I'm always thinking. So because obviously the immediate reaction of the left politicians, Democrats, people who are totally anti-gun, their immediate response is going to be, oh, you need to come up with gun safety laws, meaning banning certain types of guns. Okay. And then they show this graphic, more mass shootings in 2023 so far than any point in any year since at least 2013. Which, if you see during the last 3 years, there have been more, because maybe there's more people who have time on their hands, and more people are angry about shit, and more people are struggling in the economy, and there's more people just having difficult times, and so when people are in despair, they do bad things, is what I would think. 2013 to 2019, it would seem that the economy was better. Things were okay. People were, granted, there's still a lot of angry people out there, but if you look at that 2013 to 2019 graphic here, and then you look at 2020, 21, 22, and 23, a lot of people had rough go of it during those years, during COVID lockdowns. People still not necessarily get back to it. Oh, they say that, we've created more jobs in this last 2 years than ever. Yeah, there's a lot of people looking for work. There's a lot of people not filling jobs. So is it, there's probably a reason for that. I wonder if all violent crime is up. Oh, yes, it is. I wonder if these are the years also when you started seeing a difference in how we handled crime and punishment. Oh yeah, because remember, these 130 mass shootings aren't just the someone shooting up a school. It's crime in the hood. It's crime in the neighborhood. It's crime in the in places where crime is running rampant. So yes, all types of crimes. I bet you if you looked at all crime in the last 3 years versus 2013 through 2019, I bet it would have that same exact trajectory. So anyway, real quick, thank you, Horatio Nelson. Welcome back, sir, who dropped a 222, just short of a small bullet, in the tip jar. Thank you for joining us. He said, I called that it was a Troon that did the shooting as the news was still breaking. I archived all the shit, been compiling the freaks' reactions. Lefties, of course, mad the shooter is being misgendered by the media. Media, of course, is trying to cover it up. If this were an angry white male, boy, oh boy. Now, I do got to give, wait, let me go back. I'm going to give the news a little bit of credit because they are, even though they're so concerned about misgendering the murderer, they do seem to be at least not shoving it under the rug yet, although it has definitely left the Twitter the Twitter trends as much. But anyway, thank you for sponsoring the show, Horatio. Appreciate it. So anyway, and then they have CNN has a link to how to talk to your kids about Monday's school shooting, according to a counseling professional. I almost think that most kids don't pay attention to the news. And unless your kids are in that school or friends with kids at that school, maybe don't blast this information to your kids. Do they really need to know it? I'm just spitballing here, but why would you talk to your kids about this? CNN. If I live in Boise, Idaho, do I need to talk to my kids about a school shooting in Nashville? I think part of the problem that we certainly hear, again, communication is so much better now that every tragedy and every lost kid and every, thing that happens in this country is blasted all over the country. I always wonder to myself, is there really more of all this stuff, or is it just we hear about it because the news media blasts it? And this is certainly at first was one of those stories that the news media would be blasting 24/7. Now we're going to see if that narrative shift is going to happen because of the identity of the murderer. So I'm going to scroll down here. This is the worst day, but it could have been worse. Nashville Mayor John Cooper praised police for the response to the shooting Monday at the Covenant School, where 28-year-old shooter, identified by police as a former student, killed 3 9-year-old children and 3 adults. This is our worst day, but it could have been worse without the brave response, Cooper told CNN. So we're grateful for that. 5 officers initially responded after police received the first call about the shooting at 10:13 a.m. local time. Police spokesman Don Aaron said previously they confronted the shooter and 2 officers opened fire, killing the shooter at 10:27 a.m. So I guess good guys with a gun at least prevented the tragedy from being much worse. Cooper expects police to release more information about the shooting Tuesday, he said, including the possible release of officers' body cam footage, the details about the shooter's writings recovered by investigators. Oh, I don't know if we're going to hear about that or not. They found a lot of documents. This was clearly planned, the mayor said, adding later those documents indicate numerous sites were investigated. So this person was going to go on a multiple location rampage. So the effective response by first responders is all the more impressive, he said, though he acknowledged that it may take some time for people to really begin to understand what could be the motives here. Interesting. So thank you, Ty Alexander, for responding to the show. Appreciate it. Tyre says, first, good journey to those souls lost in this shit. Second, fuck that bitch for standing on the corpses of those kids before the bodies are even returned to the earth. No, FTG, fuck her and everyone standing on them. Can we get a happy story to end the show? I'll see what I can do. Thank you, Tyre. Appreciate your response to the show. So, let's see. Now, Nashville private school shooting suspect had a maps of the building, scouted possible second tag location, according to police. This person had 3 firearms, entered the Covenant School by shooting through the side door, Metro Nashville Police Chief John Drake said at a news conference. Authorities say the attack unfolded over about 14 minutes. First call about the shooting came at 10:13 a.m. and the shooter was dead at 10:27 a.m. Police spokesman Don Aaron said a private school operated by a church. There was no school resource officer assigned by the city to guard the school. So this was an unguarded school. In fact, there's some rumors that this person attempted to go to another school but did not, chose against it because they had security there. The person fired multiple shots for second floors of the school. The 5-member team of police heard the gunfire, went for the second floor, and fatally shot the suspect. All right, so let's see. And then police search for a motive in calculated planned mass shooting. We'll get to that in a minute. And then we already saw her. So now some of the right-wing outlets, which I understand why, are reporting what some of the other media are reporting also, that the Nashville shooter was identified as a transgender artist. So it's a 28-year-old female who identifies as transgender and uses... No, this person does not use he, him pronouns. He wants other people to use he, him pronouns because everybody uses he, him pronouns. That's a stupid... I hate that phrase. My name is this and I use this. I use these pronouns. No, I would like you to use these pronouns when you refer to me. And it should be a polite request instead of just telling you. And if I do not comply with your request because I have a hard time feigning your reality, which is an oxymoron because it would not be a reality, please understand that I have a way that I use the English language. I have a dialect that I speak in which I do not call females he or him. And especially when I'm talking to somebody else and referring to you, if you certainly, even though you pretend to look like a male or you dress in what your idea of a stereotypical male is, if I know that you're a female, I will probably use a pronoun that is appropriate with the person I am talking to when referring to you. Okay, okay, enough of that. Yeah, this was when the police asked this.
She does.
Sorry about that.
Transgender, yes.
Is there any reason to believe the shooter first went to the church?
Oh, thank you. Our reaction, Puerto Rico. So anyway, some reporter asked if she identifies as transgender, and the the police are having a time because he's saying, yes, she does. He's trying to figure out what pronouns he's supposed to use. LinkedIn, now the LinkedIn page for this person indicates that she identifies as he, him, and received an award. Oh, and received a 2015 award in 2015 from the Nosy College of Art for achieving greatness in the classroom. Oh. A page from the Nosy College of Art and Design previously listed Hale as a student on the spring 2016 Dean's List, but the website seemingly has been updated to remove her name. The Daily Caller reached out to Nosy College of Art, whatever. And then someone said that this person is a talented artist, whatever. Good. I mean, that's all well and good, but doesn't do us any good now. And again, thank you, Reaccion Puerto Rico, you lovely island. Thanks for that, and I'll check the DMs here real quick. There's a body cam footage. I don't know if I want to show it. Let me just take a quick look here. Thanks, Johnny Hellcat, by the way, for sponsoring or for tweeting out the show. Good morning, by the way. The original viewer of the Morning Night Live, Johnny Hellcat, is in the building. All right.
People in America are not settled with the information.
Oh, that's not it. Let's try this. Let's open a link in a new tab. Let's see what we got here. So they have the police body cam footage from this event. I may just put it in links. I don't know if I'm going to show it on the screen just because this is YouTube. Oh, this is after the suspect has already been killed, apparently. Oh, I see. That's a full-length body cam footage. Okay. If you... So these officers, here's one thing. I will put this in the links, but I'm not going to show this on YouTube. Here's what I'm going to say, though. These officers did their job, unlike the officers at Uvalde. So cheers to them. And in fact, I'm pretty sure, let me check here. I'm pretty sure there's, here we go. Here's pictures of officers Michael Colazzo and Officer Rex Engelbert bravely ran towards the gunfire and took out the killer. These men are heroes, and they're the ones who I want to emphasize. If you notice, I'm not saying the killer's name, which is funny because the news outlets have been using both the dead name and the real name for the killer, or the professed name, I should say. Let's see. Let's scroll through some more here. See, if I wear pants and a tie, I can call myself a man. Yeah, whatever. Now, oh, good Lord. Now, this is someone who wrote, when I heard about the female shooter at National Covenant School, I was shocked. Almost immediately, I wondered if they were really female. Then I scolded myself for such reactionary thinking. But now it seems that this may well be a trans-identified female. When they say when someone says a trans-identified female, they mean a female that is identifying as male. There's a couple ways people say this. Some will say a transgender man, which is the transgender activist way of saying it. And then the more gender critical way of saying it would be a trans-identified female, someone who female who identifies as trans something else, be it male or non-binary or whatever the plethora of new options that they believe there are. So anyway, so if this is some poor disturbed woman who needed help but instead was given huge amounts of testosterone and ended up murdering children and teachers, I'm not sure how I'll cope with all the usual TRAs, trans rights activists, justifying this. Either way, it's horrific. And so there are people, they've forced the police to clarify the remarks on the shooter's gender identity. There's some confusion about the shooter's gender identity, with police earlier describing the attacker as a woman. true. Later saying that this person identified as transgender. The police spokesman has since told Washington Post that Hale is a biological woman who on social media profile used male pronouns. We're reaching out to police in Nashville to see if we can get more clarification on this. Why? Oh my God. Because they're worried about misgendering someone who murdered a bunch of people. There's no evidence she was taking testosterone, not yet anyways. Some women murder. It's rare, but it happens. And they reply, yep, nothing confirmed yet. Obviously, it's unbelievably rare for a woman to carry out these, something and uniquely American atrocities. If it turned out that in addition to this being a female, it was a trans-identified female on testosterone, it starts looking hugely concerning. Well, there is, it's a fact that testosterone causes more male-like aggression in trans-identifying females, transgender males, whatever you want to call them. Hello, Shrapnel. Now, here's some other disturbing stuff. So this jackhole right here, another trans lunatic showing off her guns, sending a warning message to the public. These are the people they want in female spaces. Look, this is different than the shooter in this case, though. This is a trans-identifying male, aka transgender woman, and there's really no evidence that the rate of violence among males doesn't change when they transition. So whether they are identifying as a woman but still male, that there is no difference in the rate of violence. Now, some people are also pointing out that this is not the first trans person to do this kind of violence, but I don't. Now look, they can put this graphic up here. Colorado Springs identified as non-binary, Denver identified as trans, Aberdeen identified as trans, Nashville shooter identified as trans. Look, yes, they can show these 4 cases. There are far many cases where it's just some shithead guy doing it. Okay, I hate the word cisgender. Normal person, human being, male, that do this. So obviously these can be mental health or just lack of any sort of empathy, or just someone who's really angry about some shit. All right. Now, couple things, other things that I saw, and then we're going to move on if I can find it. This. So this was a tweet by something called the Trans Resistance Net. And this is the part where, when I said the narrative, is the narrative going to change? Because there are some people who are not necessarily explicitly condoning what this person did, while also giving them the most gentle of a pass or excuse. Okay. And so this is something from something called the Trans Resistance Network, I guess it's called. And here's the letter they put out. Now read this. Media statement on the March 27th, 2023 school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. Trans Resistance Network. The Trans Resistance Network has been notified the shooter involved in today's church school shooting in Nashville was a person identifying as transgender, known from online profiles as they dead-named her. They put both the new name and the dead name, and then put he, him in parentheses because of the pronouns, right? While it is not our policy to engage publicly with news media, we believe this moment calls for thoughtful response from our collective. While it is, we point out that today's incident in Nashville is not one tragedy, but 2. The first tragedy today is the loss of life of 3 children and adults, we extend our deepest sympathies and heartfelt prayers to those families dealing with this loss of loved ones. There is nothing we can offer that will comfort the hurt or ease the sorrow. We mourn with you. The second and more complex tragedy is that male name and then dead name who felt he had, I'll just use what they wrote here, he had no other effective way to be seen than to lash out by taking the life of others and by consequence himself. He didn't take himself out. The police did. Oh, I see, by consequence. Anyway, we do not claim to know the individual or have access to their inner thoughts and feelings. We do know that life for transgender people is very difficult and made more difficult in the preceding months by a virtual avalanche of anti-trans legislation and public call-outs by right-wing personalities and political figures for nothing less than the genocidal eradication of trans people from society. Now, that's probably in reference to what? Who was it? The dude from Florida, the congressman, who was saying that the eradication of transgender ideology, not of transgender people, transgender ideology, the proliferation of transgender ideology throughout society and in our schools and whatnot. No, we don't need to put transgender ideology in our school. If there have always been transgender people, then they can deal with that when they're adults, and we're not going to push it on kids like we've been doing and increasing the social contagion of it. But almost sounds like they're making an excuse here, right? Many transgender people deal with anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, and PTSD from the near constant drumbeat of anti-trans hate. No. Look, the anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, that comes with the territory. I'm just saying, I don't mean that to be mean. It's just that is part of the mental health issue that people who have this identity crisis deal with. Just like anorexic people deal with the same types of anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide. Now, the PTSD from the near constant drumbeat of anti-trans hate, well, that's because your trans activists are constantly pushing stuff, and people are like, no, I don't need to pretend. I don't have to pretend on your behalf. I'm not doing it. Okay? I know it sounds harsh, but I don't have to bend to your reality, to what you consider your reality. I don't have to pretend. If I see something, I see what I see. You can't unsee certain things. Constant drumbeat of anti-trans hate, lack of acceptance from family members and certain religious institutions, denial of our existence, and calls for detransition and forced conversion. No. No one is calling for demanding detransition. There are a lot of people who are detransitioning just on their own because they realize that whatever it was that they were told would make them feel right doesn't. And that's probably the reason the ideation of self-ending doesn't improve with transition, because it remains the same, roughly 40%, but it takes about 7 to 10 years. But years of being a medical patient and the toll that certain drugs and procedures take on your body is very difficult. And we're hearing that from a lot of people who are trans, and even some who are glad that they did it, but still talk about the medical issues that are constant. And no one tells this. No 12-year-old can fathom how that could be something that happens for the rest of your life. And that's why we're saying maybe this shouldn't be done on children. If they want to do it when they're an adult, fine, but they can't make a decision at 12, 13, or 14 and understand that you realize you're going to be dealing with this your entire life. Jazz Jennings, who no longer is regretting the surgery and having to dilate, is starting to figure that out now after being a celebrity trans kid for nearly the kid's entire life. And now mom has to force Jazz to dilate? Bet Jazz didn't know that when Jazz was 4, when they went through the social transition, or when she was 15, when they were talking about, the puberty blockers have made it so there's almost not enough material to create a design a vagina. Yeah, Marcy Bowers didn't warn about that, but they ended up doing it anyway. And now years later, while the kid's in college, and mom's worried about if they're going to continue to dilate. So yeah, the anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, that happens regardless of what society's doing. And again, the calls to detransition, who's calling for you to detransition? No one cares. You live your life. No one's telling you to, and conversion, forced conversion? Nobody's forcing conversion on you. Oh, but you know what they do? They say if a child plays with a male child plays with dolls a couple times, and they say, "Oh, my child must be transgender," and instead the World Professional Association of Transgender Health says, "Well, no, you should probably go through a therapy over a certain period of time to see if this is really it." They call it conversion therapy to teach a child how to be okay with their body. They call that conversion therapy instead of the surgeries and puberty blockers and all the other shit. That's not conversion. Well, that seems like an extreme conversion. They should do it. Well, they did a TV show called I Am Jazz. Extreme kid conversion. Like, remember, what is it? What was it? What was that show where they did the homes? Extreme Home Makeover? Yeah. Extreme Human Makeover. We're going to give you a designer body. We're going to got to cut you up a little bit. You got to take some hormones. You got to take some stuff that's going to make your bones thin and cause you to have osteoporosis by the time you're 20. But hey, that's okay. We'll make lots of money. This is a great revenue stream for us medical people. You get a patient for life. They continue. All of these factors contribute to a population that is medically underserved and who often faces anti-trans bias when accessing care, leading to significant physical and mental health disparities. No, you already have the mental health disparities. That's why you're going through this. Hate has consequences. Oh, is that what you call this? Is that what you call hate has consequences? So we should expect a lot of transgender people out there shooting up kids at school. It is a testament to the inner strength and beauty of transgender people that despite the overwhelming odds of homelessness, job discrimination, and constant anti-trans bigotry and violence, and that's the other thing. We'll get to that later. So many of us continue to persevere, survive, and even thrive. We will not be eradicated or erased. No one's asking for you to be erased. Sometimes I just want y'all to shut the fuck up and leave my kids alone. Well, not my kids. My kids are grown. They can do whatever they want. We remind the news media to respect the self-identified pronouns of transgender individuals who come across your desk. X self-identified with he, him pronouns. on forward-facing sites. We also urge you to avoid pandering to those individuals on the right who will use this double tragedy to torment fear and terror of transgender people in order to advance political agenda of our transgender elimination. Biased and sensationalized coverage of these viewpoints is both irresponsible and reprehensible. Oh, yeah. I remember when some parents went to protest at some school boards and they were labeled terrorists. I'm sure you'll get the kid glove treatment, because you will, from the media. I guarantee it. You don't have to worry too much about that. I don't even think Fox News has the cojones to actually talk about this in any way, but that is very mindful of your desires. It's very fascinating. Anyway, it really chaps my hide. But so, and there are other incidents of people out here that are kind of making this, well, it's your fault, you bigots, and this person, there are a few even that even celebrated it in a way. I don't know if I can find them because they were far down this scroll here. But let's see. Real quick. Thank you, Jimmy.Sotep. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Who says, screw these people. Which one of those kids had trans hate that affected that violent, mentally unstable bitch to kill kids? F this writer. Yes, I agree, Jimmy. F that writer. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, it's very unlikely. Cannon. I think is Cannon on right now? Yes. Is this a radical left extremist? Good question, Cannon. I think Cannon's stream right now. In fact, if y'all want to jump on Cannon's stream after I leave here, I'll put a link to his stream in the links today. It'll be at the bottom of the page. Pause. There we go. Okay. Oh, he did it 43 minutes this morning. Oh, Cannon and Jay did this morning. What's the shit? Did this morning or yesterday? It was an hour ago. That's why Jay just got here. Hi, Jay, by the way. I see you, brother. And Annalyn, I see you too. So, I can't find. There were a couple of these. People that were kind of celebrating this, and then I think they might have taken the tweets down. Oh, interesting. Now, this woman who did that, who went and this, I did not know this. The woman who had that little tirade with the media. It is strange that this gun control activist who has been working with Nancy Pelosi and Democrat politicians to ban weapons was on the scene immediately in Nashville. Now, she said, it is weird, but she did say that she was there on vacation with her family. And Nashville's a great town, by the way. I would love to go hang out in Nashville. But people are blaming this on the NRA. Typical. Blame it on the NRA, which I don't think okay, maybe you all have the information that I'm about to ask you. Does anyone remember a single NRA member who has been either arrested or killed over a mass shooting incident? I don't think there's been one yet. I really don't. So anyway, this hashtag now, oh, by the way, so, Joe Biden was going to do some remarks on this, and let me just show you how he opened his remarks when he came to talk to. He was talking to some women's event, but he was going to give remarks on the Nashville shooting, and here's how the President of the United States started that meeting or that speech.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband.
Now, the other thing, too, I don't think that the people in the audience knew about what he was going to talk about yet. So the fact that they laughed about that is I don't blame the audience, but here's how he begins the speech when he's going to talk about a tragedy.
And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. I think I'm kidding.
No, I think you're a moron. So anyway, he started talking about ice cream. So, oh my gosh, I'm way over time. Hello, JB. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Ah, yes, Hugh Janus. Yes, that would be Hugh Janus. So here's this is an article in the American Thinker. I'm not going to get to anything else on this today. The reporting on Nashville shooting reveals incoherence of modern gender history. We'll do this and then I'm going to get out of here. So when newspapers publish stories using the phrase "her testicles," it's easy to add laughter to the tears that always accompany reports demonstrating the complete breakdown of reality in modern America. There is no laughter, though, when trying to decipher the biological sex of the school shooter who killed 3 children and 3 adults in Nashville before the police appropriately terminated the killer's existence. Initial stories identified the shooter as a female teenager. Then the reports changed to say that the shooter, who I will not name, was a 28-year-old female. That was odd because historically, women are not mass shooters, although there are always exceptions. The news then reported that the shooter was transgender. That too left me bewildered. Did that mean the shooter was a biological woman who claimed to be a man, or a biological man who claimed to be a woman? After I saw that, I saw a headline on the Daily Mail's site stating, "Trans female former student." Again, I had no idea whether this meant a biological female or a biological male. I didn't click on the story because the Daily Mail throws pronouns around with wild and illogical abandon. Instead, I went to look for other sources of information about the killer's sex. It wasn't until I saw the DC Drainer tweet that I sort of got a handle on things. Despite the tweet's obvious refusal to use female pronouns, it's apparent that the killer was a woman who identifies as a man. But of course, that's not true either. The notion of being transgender is illusory. So-called transgenderism is merely a form of body dysphoria, a mental illness just as diluted as the anorexic girl with her bones protruding all over who claims she's fat. If the Democrats Party didn't find so-called transgenderism politically useful, it wouldn't be celebrated in America, nor aggressively promoted in schools, at libraries, on TV, and movies, and on social media. In other words, a transgender man didn't commit mass murder. A mentally ill woman did. Just because the killer was mentally ill, that doesn't mean she doesn't know what she was doing. The famous McNaughton test for determining whether a person is criminally insane so that he or she cannot be convicted of murder requires that the killer was so divorced from reality that he was incapable of recognizing what he was doing. Thus, a man who provably believed he was hammering a nail into a chair rather than braining his mother will probably be allowed an insanity defense. In the case of this killer, though, earlier reports say that she carefully mapped out her crime in advance. She knew what she was doing, so her mental illness did not affect her ability to understand right from wrong and leave her thinking she was stomping out bugs rather than murdering children. She was quite simply a completely evil woman, although I'm certain that her sense of victimhood due to her untreated mental illness exacerbated the sense of ill usage that drove her to slaughter children. Marjorie Taylor Greene asked a very important question. How much hormones like testosterone and medications for mental illness was the transgender Nashville school shooter taking? Everyone stop blaming guns now. Now, all societies have bell curves, whether we're talking sexuality, intelligence, wealth, political values, or anything else. But the peak of the bell curve also means that there are long tail ends. That is, the places where the upper and lower extremes of those qualities live. When it comes to sex, Western culture has always had the bulk of the curve populated with sexually active heterosexuals. The extremes represent everything from total asexuality to all the non-standard sexualities, homosexuality, sadism, masochism, transvestitism, etc. For any society, there are 3 basic responses to the extreme these sexual extremes. Cruel societies brutalize non-standard sexualities. Free societies allow them room within which to function without either penalizing or promoting them. Dying societies give the non-standard sexualities pride of place at the very heart of the culture. We've become the third society, the dying one, which has abandoned the peak of the bell curve, the place of normalcy and stability for the apparent extremes. And that's how we end up with mentally ill women being encouraged to claim that she's a man rather than getting treatment to align her self-image with her biological reality. And then after possibly being hopped up on testosterone and other medications, she goes to an elementary school and slaughters the innocent. And I was going to try to end on something happy and fun and nice. What do I got? Let me try. There are several other articles. By the way, apparently one of Ron Paul's staffers was stabbed in D.C. They do have the suspect in custody. That's not good. In where is this? There's liberal Wisconsin Supreme Court nominee let off domestic abuser. He was later convicted of attempted murder. That's not a happy one. Part of the danger. Democrat representatives said GOP colleagues are so attached to guns there's no hope. Oh, that's the who's this dickhead? Representative Steve Cohen of Tennessee. There's a lot of people out there talking about guns, blaming inanimate objects for this, but clearly this person had problems. More on that. Obama falsely claims that guns are the number one killer of children. That's what this person in the who jumped the mic at the press conference said. I Hate Mondays. Going to play that song right now. On Monday evening, former President Barack Obama tweeted his response to the Nashville Christian school shooting by repeating the left's false claim that guns are the number one killer of children. On March 23rd, 2023, Breitbart reported that actor Billy Porter made the same false claim, screaming that the leading cause of death in children are guns during an appearance on ABC's View. No, in fact, only among, black kids ages 15 through 49, black males 15 to 49, but that's not just guns, all murders. Murder is the number one killer. But anyway, and then Fox News ran a story titled "Guns Are Now the Leading Cause of Death in U.S. Children per the CDC." The story noted the CDC figures show firearm-related deaths of people ages 0 to 19 totaled 4,368 in 2020, while motor vehicle deaths for the same range totaled 4,036. During a June 22 speech, President Biden reacted to the CD figures by claiming guns are the number one killer of children. But Breitbart News dug into the CDC figures and ascertained that the only way to make the claim work is to count 18 and 19-year-olds as children. But if one does a custom search on the CDC website to adjust the category of children to include only those ages 0 to 17, only those below voting age and military age, then the outcome completely flips. One sees the number of firearm-related deaths for children ages 0 to 17 was 2,281, while the number of motor vehicle deaths was 2,503. So, still, it's too many. But most of those firearm-related deaths with children are accidents and self-endings. So anyway, that wasn't the happy news. Let me find one happy story. Oh, AOC has got massive donations after AOC defends TikTok from a possible ban. An organization that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a member of has accepted sizable donations from ByteDance, the Chinese parent company of the social media platform TikTok, which the Democratic Socialists recently defended from a possible nationwide ban. Shocker. I wanted a happy story. Hi, Evan S. What's up? Nice to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. We talked about Biden's chocolate chip. By the way, remember Matt Taibbi was testifying before Congress, or a congressional committee hearing? Well, apparently, the IRS has now visited Twitter Files journalist Matt Taibbi's home the same day as that testimony. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. An IRS agent stopped by the home of Twitter Files journalist Matt Taibbi on the same day as congressional testimony on the weaponization of the government, according to the House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan, who's demanding an explanation over the oddly timed visit. Jordan sent a letter to the IRS Commissioner Daniel Werfel and the Department of Treasury on Monday in hopes of getting to the bottom of why the federal agent appeared at Taibbi's New Jersey home on March 9th and left a note, according to an editorial in the Wall Street Journal that cited the letter. The note reportedly instructed Taibbi to call the IRS 4 days later. When he did, an agent told him his 2018 and 2021 tax returns had both been rejected due to identity theft concerns. Taibbi has been deeply involved in researching and reporting the Twitter files based on a trove of internal documents at the social media giant, blah, 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 blah. So, hey, the weaponization of, he's going to testify on the weaponization of government and of government agencies, and the IRS shows up at his house the day he's going to testify. That's just perfect. That's perfect. Unbelievable. Okay, I think that's going to be my feel-good story of the day because, let me finish this on this one. I'm late, but I don't care. San Francisco is finally getting tough on crime. All right, San Francisco, way to go. So San Francisco, with its steep hills and streetcars and glorious vistas, was once a gorgeous little jewel of the city. But that was a long time ago. Leftist politicians, including by no means limited to Nancy Pelosi, made it Exhibit A of how far left policies can destroy what was once a beautiful place to live. But there is hope for the city of fog yet, and not even just for those of its citizens who are black or homeless and mentally ill. The Paris of the West, where people die of drug overdoses on the street virtually every day and out-of-control theft, is now dismissed as a basic city experience, is finally getting tough. No, authorities aren't cleansing the city of scourges of drugs or tent cities or skyrocketing crime, but they're making sure San Franciscans are safe from the danger. I mean, the absolute danger of a little free library. Yes. As odd and out of focus as it may initially seem, this actually makes sense. Leftists, after all, don't want people reading or thinking for themselves. They want indoctrinated bots mindlessly repeating their cynical and manipulative slogans like Black Lives Matter is the most notorious example, assent to what is an obvious truth. And, by the way, the phrase Black Lives Matter, in essence, is correct. But its usage is suspect, and the organization is fucked. Okay. Anyway, not critical thinkers who are able to see through their deceptions, even the smallest possibility of people thinking on their own, must be stamped out, as San Francisco residents Joe and Susan Myers found out the hard way. The Wall Street Journal reported on Sunday that the city sent a notice to Joe and Susan, quote, remove unpermitted encroachments from public right-of-way or obtain within 30 days a $1,402 minor sidewalk encroachment permit for a minuscule 2-shelf little free library which holds around 20 books and a bench in front of their home. This notice was sent, according to the Journal, because of a single anonymous complaint. And despite the fact that all over San Francisco there are 10 cities that encroach upon sidewalk access in a major, not a minor way, and yet no one is sending the homeless drug addicts any notices to remove unpermitted encroachments from the public right-of-way or pay a fine. Now, the Journal notes that the Myers set up their little library 10 years ago and stock it with a revolving catalog ranging from it's fun to make things from scrap materials to breaking free from compulsive eating. People could take or leave books as they wish for free, all in the honor system. The amateur librarians also keep dog biscuits next to the bin and festoon a nearby tree with seasonal decorations. Yeah, you'd think this was just the sort of couple that city officials ought to be presenting with civic awards and celebrating with happy little ceremonies at city halls. But come on, man!
Come on, man.
It's not 1953 anymore. Nevertheless, some people can't help but notice that as the city tumbles into a third world status, aka shithole, all around them, the authorities could find better things to do than harass a harmless couple whose crime is no more serious than making books available to people free of charge. One of the Myers' neighbors said, "The fact that we live in a city where they would rather fight someone who is doing something positive is what I find so disheartening." Duh! It isn't even just Joe and Susan Myers. The city has been busy harassing other people for the same kind of violation. Quote, "Encroachment permits are common in California, where cities require them for everything from mailboxes to vegetation planting along public roadways. San Francisco officials say they average 893 minor encroachment complaints a year, and that their policy is to give them no choice but to act on the complaints, which are often filed anonymously via the city 311 call line." Now, I'll leave the rest of this article to you, but my experience in San Francisco, 2 hours into the city, driving through, stopped for lunch, and our car was immediately broken into and several of our bags were stolen. So I know what it's like to be in San Francisco. I know these encroachments that might be a free library or a mailbox that sticks out 1 inch too far certainly are the most important thing on the San Francisco Police Department and City Council's mind. And certainly not all the homeless people that you have to walk over and the poop in the street and all that shit. So anyway, congratulations. There's your happy story. San Francisco finally getting tough on crime. And that's it for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that I will be back Friday. It's possible I may or may not be streaming tomorrow and Thursday. I will put a notice on YouTube and on Locals. By the way, just a reminder, my Locals page will be in the links today if you want to support this channel on a regular basis, kind of like Patreon. I have two people so far. I'm not even sure who they are. 2 people are actually members of my Locals page as supporters, and I appreciate you. Unfortunately, this is weird because they don't, here, let's manage the community. Let's try this real quick. They just recently signed up. Where are my? All right, I gotta learn how to use. Here we go. Jimmy Das Hotep, thank you, sir, and HP Lovecraft. So I have monthly supporters. I appreciate you so much there. I still haven't. What I am going to do. I am going to start doing some exclusive Locals content. As soon as I get 5 supporters, and then I'll probably do a regular monthly supporters, maybe either Zoom call or a live stream just on Locals. And also I'm going to start doing open up Locals chats where it's basically unlimited and uncensored chat. Definitely can be, well, it can be fun. It can be triggering to those who don't understand that some of us like to laugh at stupid shit. So anyway, thank you. I will have you, I'll have that in the links. I do that every day. Please think about considering supporting me there. In fact, I'm going to I got to get a goal though. I'm working on a goal of how many people I'd like to have supporting me there. And then maybe I don't have to worry about some other things. So, but Thank you all for joining me today. It is time for me to go. For sure, see you Friday, maybe tomorrow and Thursday. We'll see. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.